Now we're going to create something using basic shapes. So along the toolbar you will see the Insert Shape tool, and when you click on the little arrow next to it you can create different shapes. We're going to work with creating an ellipse, and I'm going to choose ellipse and then drag my cursor, which is now across, and hold my shift key down to make a perfect circle. If I had preferred to make an oval, I would do ellipse. I would choose ellipse, and without holding the shift key down, I could make an oval, or actually any shape that I want that looks like an ellipse, but the shift key helps you constrain it so that it is a perfect circle. So go ahead and draw an ellipse that's more like an oval, and draw an ellipse that is a perfect circle. Okay, so I'll quickly introduce you to the layer bars where these are both named ellipse. I'm going to click on one and notice it highlights it over here. By double clicking on it, I can name this or rename it. I'm going to call this one circle. And now I'm going to click on the oval, and I'm going to double click on the layer bar and I will name it oval. I find that renaming these as I go along is very helpful. And finally, let's take a look at the properties or the inspector bar on the right hand side. Let's click the circle. Notice it highlights it over here. And we're going to find the fill property, and we're going to color that in so it's not just gray. So let's fill it. I'll use an orange. And let's fill the oval a different color. Let me use a blue for that. It'll make it easier to see during this tutorial. The other thing I'd like to show you is if you click on one of these shapes, you can change the size by dragging the handles, and I'm going to hold the shift again and drag the handle, but I can also change the size by going over and changing the width. And let me make this a 3-inch circle. I'm going to change this to 3, and I'm going to change both the width and the height to 3. And now I have a 3-inch circle, and I'm going to leave the oval the same. But notice I did this by changing the dimensions, the width and the height, in the properties or inspector area. And these all mean something slightly different, but we won't get into these just yet. Okay, so I'd like you to make 2 more shapes. Another circle that's slightly smaller than the big orange circle we have here. And I'd like you to make another circle that's slightly smaller than the oval. One way that you could do this is click on it and go to the edit menu, and you can use the duplicate. And now that I did a duplicate, I actually have 2 of them. Notice I'm just dragging one over. And to make it easier to tell them apart, I'm going to change the color and make that a yellow. So I have an orange and a yellow. And notice here, I probably would like to name my yellow one yellow circle. It will help me in the long run. And this is optional. And I would like this a slightly smaller circle than the 3-inch circle. So I can do this again by dragging, or I can go to the width. And I think I'm going to make this a 2.5 and 2.5 on the height and the width. Oops, let's type that correctly, 2.5. And you'll notice that it is slightly smaller. And I could tell that by just dragging it in, just checking it out. It's slightly smaller. So we have the yellow circle, and we have the orange circle, or the outer circle, and we have the oval. I would like one more small circle inside this oval. So this time I'm going to just go into the ellipse and just draw a little circle in here. And I'm going to give it a little color to make it easier to see. Maybe we'll make this red. So I now have 4 shapes. And I'm going to name the red circle. Red circle. So now we're about to do something really cool and fun. So let's just pause here and make sure that you have 4 shapes. You have them labeled to make it easier. And you have one circle smaller than the other, and one oval and a smaller circle.